Did you know dogs sleep in different ways? Each breed has its own unique nighttime behavior. Some stay half awake all night, always ready to react to the slightest noise. Others just crash and want nothing more than to cuddle close to their owner. And then there are the really strange ones who can suddenly start howling in the middle of the night as if calling their ancient pack. Today, we're uncovering the secret habits of dogs at night, and I promise you'll be surprised. If you enjoy this kind of content, hit like and subscribe to keep following our next videos. The guardians of the night. Imagine a German Shepherd lying by the door, eyes half closed. To the untrained eye, it looks like he's sleeping, but suddenly there's a creak outside, or maybe the sound of someone walking on the sidewalk. In an instant, his ears twitch, his body stiffens, and a low growl rumbles deep in his chest. That's not sleep, that's vigilance. Guard and watchdog breeds like German Shepherds, Rottweilers, Dobermans, and Akitas are genetically wired to stay alert. These are dogs that were bred for centuries to protect flocks, property, and families. Nighttime is when their instincts shine the brightest. Even when they do fall asleep, their rest is lighter, broken into short cycles, and constantly interrupted by micro-awakenings to check on their surroundings. Owners of these breeds often notice that their dogs never fully settle into one position. They'll doze in the living room, then move to the hallway, then spend an hour lying by the window. It's like they're running silent patrols through the house, making sure everything is under control. And it's not just movement. These dogs use their extraordinary senses all night long. While we humans rely on locked doors and security alarms, a Rottweiler relies on his nose and ears. He can smell a stranger passing by on the street or hear the faintest scrape of a shoe on the pavement. To him, those things matter because in his mind, it's his job to notice. Some people say that having a Doberman or Akita is like having a personal night guard, one that works for free, never asks for vacation, and considers your safety his life's mission. And they're not wrong. These breeds take their role seriously, whether or not there's any real danger. But of course, this also means their owners sometimes get woken up in the middle of the night. A small noise that you or I would ignore might trigger a sharp bark or a pacing session down the hallway. It's not disobedience, it's duty. To a guardian breed, keeping watch is part of who they are. So, the next time your German Shepherd shifts restlessly at 3 a.m., don't get too frustrated. Chances are he's not trying to annoy you, he's simply fulfilling a role that has been written into his DNA for centuries. The professional cuddlers. Now let's move from vigilance to comfort. Enter the companion breeds: Shih Tzus, Pugs, Bichon Frises, and Maltese. If guard dogs are soldiers, these little ones are professional snugglers. Their purpose has never been guarding sheep or chasing intruders. Instead, they were bred for companionship, to sit in laps, to follow aristocrats through castles, or to be affectionate partners for families. That history explains why their nighttime behavior is so different. When the sun goes down, these dogs are not scanning the environment. They are looking for you, for your lap, your pillow, or the warmest spot in the bed. They crave physical closeness above all else. If you shift in bed, they'll shift with you. If you get up for a glass of water, some will follow you down the hallway, eyes still half closed, just to be near you. And when they do sleep, they sleep hard. Unlike the guardians, who wake at every sound, companion breeds are often deep sleepers. A Shih Tzu can snore like a tiny motorboat while the world outside is full of noise. Fireworks might wake them, but a car passing by? Not a chance. There's something very endearing about this. While a Rottweiler might be prowling at 2 a.m., a Bichon Frise is curled up like a snowball, radiating warmth and comfort. They're not protecting the house, but they're protecting something else: your emotional well-being. Having a little dog pressed against you, breathing in sync, can give you a sense of safety and relaxation that no alarm system could provide. And this is their role. They're not lazy for sleeping deeply, nor clingy for following you around. They're doing exactly what centuries of breeding prepared them for: being your closest companion day and night. Owners of companion breeds often report that their dogs only wake when they themselves move. That's because the dog's primary radar isn't the outside world, it's you. To them, your movement, your presence, and your emotions are the most important signals in the room. So if your Maltese seems like a furry shadow at night, glued to your side no matter what, that's not an accident. That's their purpose, their instinct, their way of living. And by the way, here's something really important. Your dog's sleep isn't just about where he lies down, it's about how he spends the day. When a dog is mentally stimulated with games, training, sniffing activities, he burns energy in a healthy way. At night, that leads to deeper, more restorative sleep, less anxiety, fewer destructive behaviors, and even better health and longevity. For you, that means a calmer, more obedient dog, one that listens better, stays relaxed, and doesn't go around chewing up shoes or tearing apart the couch. The best part? It's easy to do. We've prepared a simple, practical guide to show you exactly how to keep your dog's mind active. Just click the link in the description and check it out. The restless hunters. Finally, we come to the hunting breeds: beagles, pointers, labradors, setters. These dogs carry some of the most powerful instincts in the canine world: an unstoppable nose and a relentless drive to track. At night, those instincts don't vanish. Even when they're supposed to be resting, they're often sniffing, stirring, or getting up to check out a scent that drifted in through the window. Owners of beagles know this all too well. You might hear little paws patting across the floor at odd hours, as if the dog has remembered an urgent investigation to finish. And then there's the vocal side. Some hunting breeds are known to howl or bark briefly when they pick up a scent or sound outside. A fox in the distance, a raccoon in the trash, even just a cat crossing the yard, to them, it's worth announcing. Not because they're nervous, but because that's how a pack communicates. They're saying, I noticed something, everyone stay alert. Of course, in a modern home, that can be less charming. A Labrador who gets restless at midnight because he didn't burn enough energy during the day might pace the house, chew on something he shouldn't, or whine at the door. That's not misbehavior, that's excess energy looking for a way out. It's worth remembering that many of these breeds were created to spend entire days in the field, running, sniffing, retrieving, or pointing. A pointer that doesn't get a chance to exercise heavily will often carry that energy into the night, turning rest time into frustration time. But when their needs are met, when they've run, played, worked, and felt useful, these dogs can also be some of the most peaceful sleepers. A tired Labrador is a happy Labrador, snoring gently at the foot of the bed, finally satisfied after a full day. Still, the hunting breeds remind us of something important. Dogs don't just turn off because we want them to. Their instincts, bred over generations, are alive every hour of the day. And at night, those instincts sometimes take over in ways that surprise us. The Nordic and sled breeds, guardians of the frozen night. Picture a snowy landscape in Siberia. The wind is cutting through the trees and the temperature is dropping below zero. For us, this sounds like a nightmare, but for dogs like Huskies, Malamutes, and Samoyeds, it's home. These breeds were shaped by the Arctic, and that environment has left a permanent imprint on how they live and how they sleep. Unlike many companion dogs, Huskies don't necessarily want to curl up at your feet. They're independent, often choosing to sleep a little away from their owner. This isn't a sign that they don't love you, it's just that their instincts tell them they can handle the night on their own. Out in the snow, a sled dog might have curled up in a shallow hole, covering his nose with his fluffy tail to conserve warmth. He didn't need a human's body heat, he had his own system. Even in a modern home, those instincts survive. Many Husky owners report that their dogs happily sprawl out on the cold tile floor in the kitchen, or even outside on a winter night, perfectly content. While we're wrapping ourselves in blankets, they're stretching out as if they were born for the chill, because they were. And then there's the howling. Anyone who's lived with a husky knows this sound, a long, drawn-out call that rises and falls like something ancient. It's not just noise, it's communication. In the wild, sled dogs and their wolf ancestors used howling to keep track of each other across vast distances. At night, when everything is quiet, that instinct resurfaces. A husky may howl, not because he's distressed, but because, in his DNA, that's how you check in with the pack. For some owners, this means midnight concerts that echo through the neighborhood. For others, it's a magical reminder that the dog curled up in their living room still carries the voice of the Arctic. Either way, Nordic breeds remind us that not all dogs are built to be silent sleepers. Some are born to sing to the moon. The toy and small breeds, pint-sized night guards. Now let's shrink things down. Imagine the tiniest dog you can think of, a Chihuahua, a miniature Pinscher, a Yorkshire Terrier. They might be small enough to fit in a bag, but don't let their size fool you. At night, these little ones turn into hypersensitive watchdogs, constantly alert to every creak, rustle, or whisper of movement. Unlike larger breeds that can snooze for long stretches, toy dogs often sleep in shorter bursts. They wake up more frequently, their little bodies popping up at the slightest disturbance. That's because, despite their size, they have an oversized sense of duty, to warn the pack. Think about it. In the wild, small animals often survive by being alert, by noticing danger before anyone else. Chihuahuas and Yorkies might not be able to chase off a stranger, but they can make sure everyone knows something is happening. To them, barking is not optional. It's survival. This is why many owners say their tiny dogs bark at nothing in the middle of the night. The truth is, it's never really nothing. It might be a neighbor's footsteps on the pavement, a car door slamming down the street, or the faint sound of a cat brushing against the fence. We don't hear it, but they do, and their instinct says, sound the alarm. Of course, in an apartment at 2 a.m., this can be less charming, but it helps to remember that this isn't misbehavior, it's instinct dressed in miniature. Your 5-pound Chihuahua believes he's standing guard for the entire household. In his mind, he's not small at all. He's the night watchman, making sure no one sneaks past unnoticed. And let's be honest, part of reason people love these dogs is exactly that personality. They don't let their size limit them. They act big, they feel big, and at night, that courage comes out in full force. So while your Yorkie may interrupt your sleep with a few late-night barks, it's worth smiling and remembering, to him, he just saved the whole family. The working and high-energy dogs, restless dreamers. Finally, we come to the dogs who might just have the most complicated relationship with sleep, the working and high-energy breeds. Border Collies, Australian Shepherds, and police dogs like the Belgian Malinois. These are the Einsteins and the athletes of the dog world, bred to work long days, solve problems, and stay active. But here's the catch. If they don't get enough stimulation during the day, they carry all that restless energy into the night. And when that happens, sleep becomes a battlefield. An under-exercised Border Collie might pace the living room at midnight, unable to settle down. An Australian Shepherd might chew on furniture or bark out of frustration. This isn't because they're bad dogs, it's because their brains and bodies are wired for constant action. Keeping them cooped up all day and then expecting them to sleep peacefully is like asking an Olympic sprinter to stay calm after sitting in a chair for 12 hours. But when they do get the activity they crave, when they've run, trained, herded, or played hard, they transform. A tired working dog doesn't just sleep, he crashes. He dives into deep, satisfying rest that looks almost comical, sprawled out on the floor, paws twitching, tail flicking, even whimpering or barking softly in dreams. These dream behaviors are another quirk of high-energy breeds. Owners often report that their collies or Malinois seem to have more intense dreams than other dogs, complete with running motions, muffled growls, and rapid eye movement. Some researchers believe this is because their brains are more active, always processing information and replaying experiences. So while your police dog is lying flat on the floor, eyes closed, don't be surprised if he suddenly kicks his legs as if chasing something in his sleep. In a way, he probably is. For owners, the lesson is clear. With these breeds, nighttime peace starts in the daytime. The more you engage their minds and bodies during the day, the better they rest at night. But no matter what, working dogs will never be passive sleepers. Even in dreams, they're on the move.